You are now listening to the Q&E Podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? Well, come and get it, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Q&E Podcast. You're here with your boy Q Hicks right now. I got Edgar on the other line. Edgar, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? We are back for a new episode of the Q&E Podcast. Today, we are going over Lovecraft, Episode 8, Jig-A-Bobo. The title already grabbed me before I even pressed play. So I already knew we had a whole lot going into it. I knew automatically this was going to be about Emmett Till and all the circumstances surrounding his character and everybody and how it affects everyone in the story. So I was very ready for it. So let's dive into this.
Yeah, and then the Jig-A-Bobo part caught me too, like the actual Jigga, because you know what a Jig-A-Boo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jig-A-Boo, like an annoyance or some shit like that. So I was like, I kind of fuck with that.
But specifically a black annoyance. Basically black, a derogatory term for black people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, bro. So before we dive into it, bro, do you like, love, or hate it? We knew it was going to be about Emmett Till and all that. And we seen the preview. So did it live up to the expectations, bro?
I loved it. It lived up to the expectations for me, for real.
Yeah, for me too, bro. For me too.
And let me just say this now before we even dive into it, because I know we're going to get to that part, like, eventually. But can we give a head clap to the two girls that played them demon, whatever they was? Like,
I was about to ask you some real questions about them, bro, because I was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on with them girls.
I'm ready. Let's get into it, dog.
I know what you're gonna say, because I already know what you're gonna say, because I wrote it down. And it's funny because didn't we talk about that Uncle Tom book not too long ago? You put me on to something. What I said about Uncle Tom book?
Uncle Tom actually, okay, anybody that ever calls you an Uncle Tom, they don't know the true story behind Uncle Tom. Whenever somebody calls you an Uncle Tom, they should be calling you Sambo. Like how we relate the word Uncle Tom and Coon together when really it should be Sambo and Coon. Sambo was the actual Negro back in the day that white people like confided in to betray black people with a lot of stuff. And Uncle Tom was the person who was actually a quote unquote hero in his situation.
Yeah. So I remember you saying that. And when I seen that Uncle Tom's cabin shit, you was the first person I thought about when I seen that. But look, before we dive into it, it was one thing, bro, that I really wish would have happened. I wish they would have incorporated time travel in this episode. That's what I really wanted. I thought they were going to incorporate time travel and Emmett Till and put it together. But I like how it played out. Yeah, that's what I thought that was going to happen.
Nah, I'm going to tell you that right now. I knew it was.
It's funny, bro, because I'm going to dive into it, and I'm going to ask you the question of black people and happy endings. All right, bro, so let's start off with the first scene. We get set up at Emmett Till's funeral. It's a real depressing scene, and you see that thing was packed out to the T. Goodness gracious, bro. You had people walking out of the funeral, throwing up, because they had the body, and you got to actually see the body. And if you've been, because I know you've been to the Washington D.C. Museum, and they actually got his body on display. So just describe that for us, bro.
Well, in the museum, in the National African American History Museum in Washington, D.C., it's not an actual body. It's not even a fake body or anything. It's the actual casket, but it's just a picture of his face inside the casket.
I thought you seen the actual, like, him getting beat up body.
No. They showed the picture of how his face looked in the casket. So when you walk by, like, you kind of get the feel of how it felt to walk by and actually see the face. And then you see videos inside of the section of the actual live funeral and the live videos and pictures of his open casket and everything. So his mother, Mamie, she was really determined to get the whole world to see what white racism and what white society did to her son. So that's why she did the open casket funeral, which is I don't think I've ever really seen an open casket funeral. Like, well,
I don't think I have either.
No. Let me take that back. Some funerals be open casket. It depends.
Only when you talking about when you walk in, you actually see the casket, then you sit down. That's open casket? That's what you call an open casket?
I guess so. Like, so never mind. Let me not say that. So, but still, like, to the degree of that, though, of how her son looks, like, he was beaten to death, shot, barbed wire wrapped around his neck. The barbed wire was tied to a cotton gin fan, thrown into the river, and he was just left to be in the river. And the reason his face was so swelled up and ugly is because he was in the water, and the water just swelled up his body so much. And I think the point that D made of how stank it was outside, and even the fact that they could smell his body outside of the funeral home, like, or the church or wherever he was, like, that's why people were throwing up after they walked in and seen him, because not only did it look gruesome, but the smell just, it was crazy.
After you smell it, you wouldn't even want to walk in. I wouldn't want to walk in after I smell it. Shit, that's too much for me, bro.
Yeah, because some of us, we were watching it, and we were like, don't they, like, prep the bodies up to not really smell like a dead body and stuff like that? But we would think like, it's the 50s, it's black people at that, so I don't think.
Probably wanted to give you the raw. She didn't want to hide anything. She wanted you to see exactly what she did or what they did to her son.
Well, I don't know if I would have kept the smell, but
the smell, I don't know.
Yeah, the smell. If I can fix the smell, I'm gonna fix the smell. But the look concept, I understand that part.
Yeah. But it was crazy, bro. D was obviously traumatized. Everybody was traumatized. Everybody outside, Letty, they really didn't know what to do. And you can just see like the emotion on D's face, because I don't even think she went inside. I think she stayed.
She didn't go in, cause she ran off. Like, she didn't want to go inside and see. And the rest of them, they left too, cause they went looking for her. Plus, I think they were all kind of shaky to go inside, because Letty even said later in the episode, his mom was brave enough to show her son like that, but I wasn't even brave enough to take a few pictures. So I was like, damn, like, it got everybody shook. And Montrose even said, because Letty and Ruby, they were all like, D don't need to be here. She don't need to see this. And Montrose said, this is every black kid's rite of passage. Like, it's fucked up as that sounds, like, it's reality. Like, she can't ignore this. Like, she has to see this.
Yeah. And we take the light that we have for granted today. Like, a lot of, we really don't go through that like they used to back in the day, because that used to be like some regular shit. Like, your friends were getting killed on the daily. You just had to get used to it, bro. Mm-hmm. So that being D's best friends, like, damn, you could feel her pain at the same time, my nigga. I don't want to say D only, 12 or 13 or
like
something
12,
like that?
13, because I think Emmett Till was 14 when he passed. So she had to be like 13. Yeah.
So she was a young girl at that time, bro. So and then like Edgar just said, she ran off, and obviously she's still going through it. So she sees two girls walking out of the store, and they're laughing and shit. They having a good time. They're just kicking and eating ice cream. And she pick up some rocks and just start throwing it at them, because she like, why are you laughing on today of all days? My best friend just died. Emmett Till just died. It's a national tragedy. Why are you crying? Or why are you laughing? It's like, it's not a laughing matter, bro. What are you doing? You feel what I'm saying?
And I was confused by that too. I was like, why was the store even open? Like, every other store in the city was closed during that time period. Like, everywhere was closed.
That's a good question.
Because even the signs in some of the windows, they said closed for Emmett Till.
Yeah.
So
damn. I ain't even think of that. I guess some people are still trying to get their money at the end of the day. Yeah. If everybody else gonna be closed, if I'm the only store open, I'm gonna get some type of money.
Well, yeah, from a business standpoint,
yeah. You just got to think about it from that way. And then we get to the cop scene. That's when we get to the cop and Diane scene, bro. And this part really shook me, bro, because Captain Lancaster them actually found Diane random as fuck. Because I don't know how you tracked her down.
I don't know. I'm mad they didn't explain that. I'm thinking they finna show how they finna track her. I'm like, what?
You don't know what she looks like, and you just pull up on her randomly? You can't tell me that's magic. I don't know. And you didn't explain the spell on how you found her. You just pop up on the scene. I was highly upset with that. But they ended up tracking her down, and at the end of episode 7, we see that they left, Tick left of the comic of Diane of Arithia Blue by the dead cop. So they knew Diane or Hippolyta had something to do with that death. So they were looking for Hippolyta. They couldn't find her. Diane didn't even know what she was. She was looking confused when they were asking her. And then that's when we get to the curse part. And I guess you can dive into that a little bit and how you felt.
Before I dive into that, I was mad as hell at D. You got cops pulling up on you, and your first instinct is to walk down a dark alley? Oh, I was so pissed.
I know. That was fucking with me,
I was like, come on, dog.
Fucking with me too. I ain't gonna lie.
You a small black girl, and you got two grown white cops coming after you. And
they really gonna take advantage of you now, boy.
Yeah, like my first thought is, let me go down this dark alleyway. Like, wait, I was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I'm staying in the sun as much as possible.
Yeah.
But basically the Captain Lancaster and the other cop, they pulled up on her and started asking her where her mother was and everything. And he said, what do you know about magic? And she was looking confused. She was like, you mean like spells and all that type of shit? And he just started laughing. Like, he was like, okay, she don't know nothing then. She's still lost on what's going on. So he started speaking the language of Adam, that the Braithwaite speak and all of that. And he spit in his hand. And well, first, the other officer, he drew like 2 stars on the ground because you got to keep the person in whatever boundary you're trying to keep them in when you put the spell on them. He spit in his hand, touched her forehead while speaking the language of Adam, and cursed her with, I think the curse was to see her own image in not a blackface way, in a evil representation. I think that's what it was. He put a curse on her to see herself in an evil.
But why was it 2 of them then? It would only be 1 if it was 1 evil representation, would it not? Why was it 2?
I think the reason it was 2 is because when she went to the bathroom later and she seen the Uncle Tom book, there were 2 girls on there. Plus, if you peep, the 2 girls that were following her throughout the entire episode were the 2 girls she was throwing rocks at.
Yeah, I did peep that. I peeped that on the second watch. I peeped that on the second watch. That shit was.
I was like, "Oh, is that why they got 2 girls coming after her? Because it was a light skinned girl and a dark skinned girl when she was throwing rocks." So yeah, I was like, "That's crazy."
Definitely crazy as fuck. So she had a curse, like Edgar said. And did you peep that poster in the background, bro? It was something that.
Yeah, it was the cream of wheat, man. And I was like, okay, that's obviously gonna mean something later. So I'm gonna check Twitter out and see what that means. Nobody said anything about the cream of wheat dude.
So I was looking at a video today, and it was a racist poster of an uneducated black man named Rastus, and he was really like the poster boy for a cream of wheat back in that day. And then, like, it was like a whole paragraph or like a mission statement where it was like everything just sounded so uneducated, but it really didn't have anything to do with the episode though. It just looked a weird background, and they gave you like a small detail, but it didn't have anything to do like with anything going on in the future of the episode. But his eyes shifted. His eyes shifted. That's how you know the curse, because when she walked up before, his eyes were still. But when she got the curse on her, like the eyes was moving and shit. So you can see shit starting to change already after that. So now we get to the Tick meets up with Christina in the looks like a funeral home or like a grave site type of shit. I think it was a grave site.
It was a grave site.
It was a grave site. Yeah. And they started to have a conversation because Christina wanted the key. She wanted the key to the orrery.
Yeah.
And Tick wanted to learn how to cast spells. So they wanted to exchange information. But something had happened though. Something had happened.
Before that or during that?
During that I'm forgetting right now. Damn, I'm blanking on it.
You talking about when she asked him why? Like, because when he walked in and he asked her to how to cast spells.
Yep.
He was like, why?
What she had said to that?
Well, she was like, why? Like, you're desperate now. Like, you were able to ask me this whole time to do that, but now you asking me, you sound really desperate. And he was like, it's my birthright. And this took out to me the whole episode.
That was it. The birthright shit.
He was like, it's my birthright. She looked this man dead in his face and said, you don't have enough whiteness in you.
That was it. That was it.
You don't have enough whiteness in you to speak with that level of entitlement. Like, you just don't.
Yeah, bro. That's why I fuck with Christina. Christina gonna give you that real, and she cold-blooded with whatever she say. That's why I fuck with that scene when it was her and Ruby later on in the episode. I love that scene, bro. When she just give it to you real cold-blooded, like she ain't gonna sugarcoat shit for you, bro.
That's crazy though, because I feel like that's a real how do I say it? That plays a part in society today, I think, with certain black people who feel like they're entitled to certain things because they know certain white people or they're buddy with certain higher end people. It's like, even though you're a part of this group or whatever, you don't have enough whiteness to speak on this. Like, you don't have enough whiteness to force that entitlement. No matter who you related to, no matter what you're doing, what Jay-Z said, still niggas. Like,
yeah, so we gotta remember that now. We gotta remember that, but you still a nigga.
I feel like that was one of the most powerful lines in the whole show so far.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to remember that. So that's good shit that you remember. But yeah, Christina ends up giving Tick the protection symbol and also giving him the instruction on how to cast spells. She says that you need energy, intention, and a body to cast spells. And then he ends up giving her the key, which I had a question on the first watch. I'm like, nigga, how you just gonna give it up so easy? I'm like, damn, just like that? I'm like, Jesus.
Just handed it to her. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't care what she giving you, my G. You're not just supposed to give up the orrery, my nigga, especially after you know what it can do. You just giving up the orrery on the.
She gave him the protection symbol too.
She did, but I was still like, you don't know how much damage she can cause.
Oh yeah.
And bro, how do you still feel about Christina? I feel like I gotta ask you this every episode, bro. Because once again, Christina showed her true colors, and it probably went over your head. So how do you feel about Christina right now?
Bro, she's not 100%, bro. She's not 100% villain, bro. She's not.
I feel like I gotta check your meter every episode, bro, because her manipulation skills are A1.
She's like, okay, I ain't gonna say 50-50 anymore. It's 60-40. 60% villain, 40% in the middle.
It's like 90-10.
No.
It's like 90-10, bro. Every episode I see her, or every scene I see her in, bro, it's some sort of manipulation that goes like under the table. And I'm gonna get to the scene. So hold on.
All right, bet.
But when Tick was going to walk, or when Christina was going to walk out of the grave site, Tick brings up the autumnal equinox. And that is something that he had read in the Lovecraft book. That's what information that we get later in the episode. And the autumnal equinox is when the sun is directly above the equator and both day and night are equal length. And Christina wants immortality. So on that day, she would need Atticus to be a part of some sort of ritual that combines with the autumnal equinox to get the immortality. And that's what Christina wants. So she needs
that's in 5 days.
And that's in 5 days from this episode. And I know you guys are probably confused, because I was confused watching this episode, because you keep hearing words like invulnerability, eternal life, immortality. And it's like they all have similar definitions, but I want to rattle them off to you. So eternal life, and that is what Samuel Braithwaite wanted. Eternal life, and that is just life after death. So you can still die, but you have life after death. And that's what he wanted. And vulnerability, that is what Letty had during this episode, and also what Tick has. It is you can't be harmed, but you can still die. And immortality, which is what Christina wants, is that means you live forever and you basically look the same throughout your whole life. So Christina basically gonna look like this the rest of her life, even though she's probably 1,000 years old. So that's what she wants. She just wants to live forever. So those are the three definitions. And I remember you had said something earlier in the recaps, bro. You was like, her and her dad don't want the same thing. You said Christina don't even look like she's that type of person. You remember you saying that? So how do you feel about that now? Like, she still had the same mindset as her dad, similar mindsets at least.
I mean, well, like you said, her dad really wanted just life after death, whatever kind of life, whether it be fruitful or what. He just wanted to be able to know he could live after he's done with this life. And with Christina, she wants to continuously live this life forever and ever and ever. She does not want to die, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where the difference comes in. And
but
I feel like
see this at the beginning of the episode, did you see that they would be on like similar time lifts though? Did you expect this from her?
Well, like, what do you mean? You mean of like in search of?
Earlier in the recaps, it sounded like she wouldn't even like attempt to try to do anything eternal life type of things or.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me that she's looking for this, but I just feel she's doing it way different than what Samuel was doing it for. She's doing it to always be relevant of creating change throughout time. I feel like that's why she wants to be immortal, because she wants to forever reign the life that she's in currently at the moment.
Yeah. All right. That's a good one. All right, bro. So now we get to the scene where it's Dee and Montrose. So Dee look like she's coming back home. This is just after she got the curse. So she goes into the bathroom, look like she fed up. She fed up with the lies. She ends up asking Montrose where my mama at. He talking about she's still on a guide trip. And she knows something just don't feel right after just talking to Lancaster. And Lancaster asking her about magic. She knows something up. So she ends up locking herself in the bathroom. And while in the bathroom, like the camera and the whole scene starts to focus on this one book, which we were talking about earlier, which is the Uncle Tom's Cabin book, in which, Edgar, you can dive into a little bit because I know you know more about this book than I do.
I ain't looked up no videos on it in a while, but for those of you who don't know, the gist of it all is Uncle Tom was, I don't want to use the word savior because it's not like he just did this like life change. Well, he changed lives because he was helping slaves and he was helping Black people throughout his life.
Anti-slavery book.
It was an anti-slavery book on how to get free, what to do once you become free, and all that type of stuff. How to make it in society after obtaining freedom. So that's basically what Uncle Tom was doing. Sambo was the dude who would try to tell on Uncle Tom, who would try to be the snitch in this case scenario, and try to appeal to the white masses and basically be you remember Samuel Jackson character in Django?
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what Sambo is. He's literally that character.
Yeah.
So that's basically the gist of the Uncle Tom's Cabin book. But if you have not read it, I suggest you actually do read it because it has a lot of. It's just very insightful. It's a really insightful book, and it was misinterpreted.
And then a lot of stereotypes came from that book. A lot of
because Black people couldn't read during that time, but those of us who could, we would read the book. And it was one of the top books in the country when it came out, and not for good reason, because of the fact that it highlighted so much about Black uprising and trying to end racial oppression and all that type of stuff. So what white people did, they would get the book and misinterpret it to Black people who couldn't read. And that's where we got the misconception of Uncle Tom and viewed him with the middle finger. And this whole time, it's like, no, we just didn't know the history behind what we were being taught. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's why Uncle Tom's Cabin was the perfect book to place in that moment when Dee was in the bathroom. And when she seen it, the cover on the book was a Black girl. She kind of had the blackface look in general already, so she kind of looked, quote unquote, ugly, I guess. And there was a white girl in the book as well. And when she looked at it, the cover was normal. And then she looked away, and the song on the radio changed to Stop That Knocking, Let Me In. And you heard that song throughout the rest of the episode. Yeah. And it was really creepy. It had a real creepy up-tempo type of tune. And then she looked at the book again, and the Black girl had a demon face with demon claws, and she was mushing the white girl on the book. And she was looking straight at Dee, and then the book fell over, and then Dee left out of the bathroom. And I was like, oh, shit. This finna get real crazy.
I knew it was about to go down.
I didn't know what to expect when I seen that. I was like, man, please don't tell me this beast finna follow her.
Yeah. And also from that book, it was two characters named Topsy and Bopsy. Which were two characters from the book, and that was who the demons are based off of. Because throughout the episode, I kept wondering why do they keep dancing? I don't know why they were always dancing. Like, what is that symbolic for? Were they dancing in the book or something like that?
I ain't looked too deep into why they were dancing. I just really applauded the choreography. And I just felt like it was kind of like a shuck and jive type thing that they would try to imply. For the most part, I feel like that's what it was. It was kind of like they got the black face with the big red lips and the nappy hair and all that. So shucking and jiving was the perfect touch to add on to that.
Yeah. Okay. Cause while watching, I was like, bro, y'all not even on a mission for real. Y'all keep dancing. Y'all could have been got her already if y'all wasn't with all the dancing.
Because I feel like that's why they titled it Jig-A-Bobo, to play on the word Jig-A-Boo, because that's how black people, not black people, that's how white people seen black people back then. Like, that's why they generated the black face of the real dark ass face with the big lips, with the watermelon and all that type of stuff. Like, they really tried to make us like ashamed to be beautiful, ashamed of our natural hair, eating fruit. Like, how do you make somebody insecure about eating fruit? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah. So I feel you. So now we get to the next scene, which is when Ruby is confronted when she goes back to Christina's house. White dude asking her why a black woman walking into a big house like that. She starts to get confronted. Then William ends up coming up and basically saving the day for her. And then they go inside and they basically fuck. But she turns into the white woman before they fuck, which was real symbolic on her part, at least. She was like, because later in the episode, she says, I didn't want to be, on Today of All Days, I didn't want to be a black woman fucking a white man on Today of All Days. I wanted to be a white woman fucking a white dude. Because it wouldn't feel right in my soul if I was doing this on Today of All Days after what your people just did. So
yeah,
basically, yeah. All right, now we get to the real nitty gritty of this episode. This is when I start to love the episode, bro. We get to Gia. When Gia comes back, she comes up unexpectedly at Letty's house, bro. She just
sitting in the living room.
Sitting in the living room, chilling, bro. And you remember what I said last week? I was like, I didn't see her purpose. I didn't understand why she would come back. And she basically just was notifying Letty and Tick, like, I'm a kumiho. This is what I do. This is what I see in the past. I usually only see the past. But with Tick, I seen the future. And she was like, she didn't see the way he died or nothing like that. And that's why I had a question about, bro. Because she did see the way he died.
Yeah.
She was on that contraption. So why did she lie?
I don't know. I feel like maybe she just doesn't know. She doesn't know how he died, even though she's seen the death, if that makes sense. It's like she's seen him die, but she didn't know how to explain it. So I feel like that's why she's saying, I don't know necessarily how you died. I just know you died. So I don't know. But I feel like she still could have gave she could have gave some kind of information.
She gave no information. That's what upset me about her, because she gave no information. She was just like, all she said was that she was a kumiho. And that was it. And Tick already knew that, or I don't think Tick knew that.
No, Tick ain't know that.
He didn't know that, but I remember her reading him the story of a kumiho. So he had background knowledge of what it was, but he didn't know that's what she was at all. But yeah, that's all she really told him. So I was like, is that it? Is that her purpose in the show? But then
I like the fact that when Tick was asking her, he was like, now why the hell are you here? Like, if you don't know how I died, if you ain't got no information to give, why are you here? And then she stared at Tick, and then Letty was sitting there. She was like, because she loved you. That's the only reason she came back, because she loved you. If she didn't give a damn about you, about how you died, she wouldn't have been here. But she loved you, so.
Letty was pissed. She stormed upstairs. She's like, man, fuck this bullshit, man. Fuck this nigga Tick, man.
That was crazy. I was like, man, you don't know what it was the fact that he walked inside and it's just two women that you fuck with just sitting at the table quiet. And I'm like,
that nigga heart dropped to his balls. Boy, that nigga didn't know how to act.
You can't leave. You can't. You gotta go in there. You just gotta take it. Just gotta go in there full force.
And he hasn't seen her in ages, I wouldn't think. He hasn't seen her in a long ass time. He talked to her before.
It wasn't that long, though. I think about a year, maybe two. Because you got to think of the time frame of when Tick left and all of that.
Was it only a year?
It wasn't really that long. It was like a year or two.
Damn, that's it? Oh, damn.
So what happened with Jaya was in like 1949, 1950.
Yeah.
So I think episode 1 took place in like 1951, maybe 52. So it's like 2-3 years at the most.
So that's why she's still out in there. I thought it was definitely more time in between.
Oh, no.
That nigga, yeah. So she says Tick was special, and Tick basically told her to get out the house, man. He's like, man, you causing a ruckus in here. You ain't giving me no information. He was like, get out. And he was like, what we had, nothing was special. And you know, her heart just sunk, bro. You can see. That shit really hurt.
I don't think she was hurt by it that much, because I feel like she know he lying. Tick lying. Tick know he lying. I don't know why you said that to her, because what y'all had was definitely real. You just saying that because you just want her to get out. Because like all you had to say was, what we had was special, but I'm with Letty now. Like, this who I'm with. Like, I ain't know none of that. See, I was like,
nah, because then the girl would still be trying to fight with you. Like, nah, you still love me. This, that, the third.
No, I don't love you no more. Like, what we had was what we had, but it ain't that no more.
You leave hope at that point. Once you leave hope, she never gonna leave. She came from Korea to the USA for you. She's not gonna leave if you giving her hope. She's not gonna leave, bro.
But if I'm obviously lying to you, you still gonna stay regardless. Like, because you know I'm lying.
She felt it. She felt it. Her heart dropped.
Her heart dropped because he actually said the lie. Like, if you plan on the lie and then actually say the lie, it's gonna hurt regardless. Even if you know the person lying, it's still gonna hurt when they verbally say it. So
I don't know, bro. You leaving out hope. I think she stays around. And
he didn't leave out no hope. He was just flawed.
I like how you did it. He just cut it off clean. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to mess with you no more. But I got spoiled on Twitter. I think Misha Green was on Twitter, and she was saying that Gia is going. She's not far away. Like, she's still like in the city and things like that.
Oh yeah, all right. No, she is. Gia ain't go nowhere. She know he lying. That's why. See, that's what I'm telling you.
So we don't want you around anymore. Go on, man.
She knows he's lying. And she has information that she's just not telling. I feel like that's what it is. She got information.
We need to get down to the reasoning why she's not telling.
I don't know the reason.
She's in cahoots. She's in cahoots with Christina. This is my theory. She's in cahoots with Christina to get some more.
I think you've only had one right theory so far this whole time.
Have I had one?
You've had like one right theory this entire series.
This series is hard to guess. They don't.
It is. It's hard. That's why I don't know why you be coming with theories so much. I gotta come with the theories. I gotta come with the theories. This is for spoilers and predictions. I have to come with a theory. I have to. But I definitely thought my Emmett Till theory was gonna be on point, though. I definitely thought that was gonna be on point. So they definitely spun me when he was already dead in the beginning of the episode. I was like, damn, my theory wrong at the beginning. Only thing I thought they was gonna do different was I thought they were gonna take us through the situation of him dying. I didn't know they was just gonna start off straight at the funeral. So that's what they got me at.
Yeah. All right, bro. Now we get to the next scene, which is Ruby asking Christina about Emmett Till. So Christina get off the phone with somebody, and Ruby walk in. She like, do you feel how I feel about this situation? Do you feel any sympathy for Emmett Till?
She said, do you care?
Do you even care?
Do you care at all? Like, I'm not asking, do you care? Like, do you care even to the bare minimum at all? Do you give any type of fucks whatsoever?
And my nigga Christina kept it a bean.
My man, Christina stood up, looked her dead in her eye, and said, no. I don't.
You know the feeling after you send a paragraph and you get a one-word response? That's literally how she went through in that situation. It's just like, damn. Like, I don't know how to come back from that. You know what I'm saying? Because she really bodied you. Because she went on a whole little spiel about, that's when she started talking about, I turned into a white woman because I didn't want to be a black woman fucking a white man and all that little spiel and shit like that.
But it's like, I felt Ruby. I feel like everybody who watched that episode felt Ruby in that moment because it's like, I feel like in so many situations, we want to ask white people that question. Like,
I was going to ask that question. Care? Why do we want their sympathy? Or why do we want them to care when it is?
It's like we human beings, bro. We all human beings, regardless of the color, regardless of the history. It's like, how are you a human being and you're okay with a child, like, having that done to a child? There's no way you can sit here and say you just don't care. So if you do say you don't care, how does that make sense? Like, I feel like that's why we want their sympathy sometimes, or sympathy or empathy. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, bro, we're human at the end of the day. We're all human. How are you just okay to not care about that?
But specifically talking about Christina, this is somebody who's killed her father. You know she gonna be cold-blooded about any situation. So if you think she gonna care about a 14-year-old black kid who got killed,
Ruby don't know that. So that's
she don't know that. But I'm just saying what the viewer knows is just like, man, she too cold-blooded to care about a little black kid who died. That's what I'm just talking about, specifically Christina. But in general, too, I still question that. Why we look for white people's empathy. You went on your little spiel, but I still question it sometimes. Because you know their mindset and a lot of shit. They only care about what they're doing. And that's how I feel black people should be, too. Black people just need to worry about what they're doing. But we living in an integrated society. But
I feel what Ruby was saying, because she was like, I want y'all to hurt. I want y'all to feel the pain that we feel. Like, I want you to feel just as disgusted that a little boy was tortured and killed as I do. Like, I should be on the South Side right now with my people, but instead I'm here with you. Like, and that's when she said what you said of, I only took that potion because I didn't want to be a black woman having sex with you. Like, I wanted to erase that part about myself if I'm going to do that with you on today of all days. Like, I didn't want to be a black woman doing that with a white man. So I felt her to a certain extent, but then I felt
to a certain extent. But Christina came back and bodied her ass. I don't forgot what she said, but she was like, no, I don't care about Emmett Till. She was like, if you ask me about Emmett Till, no, I do not care.
She was basically saying, no, I don't care about Emmett Till. I also don't care about the people who are responsible for his death, who will never see justice or any of that. Like, I don't care about.
She said a couple other names. She was like Roy Bryant, some other names.
She was like, I don't care about the other black people who will never see justice or any of that. And I don't feel like you do either. I don't feel like you care either, because of all days. Yeah, like you're here with me. Like when we were having sex, I seen a different you. I seen somebody being reborn. And I was just like, damn, like
body her ass.
She was like, do you even care? Because of all days, you could have chose to go be with them. Like just how, like you said, you could have chose to go be with them, but instead you chose to be a woman first and get what you wanted in that moment. So I was like, damn, like she ain't lie. Like you could have left. You ain't have to stay.
Nobody forced her to go back over there, bro. So that's why I was like, shit, Christina body her ass. Cold blooded. That's why I love that scene, bro. Really showed you Christina, bro. All right, bro. Now we get to the next scene. We get to Dee finding her mother's car in the cut. She go over to Letty's house, and Letty and Tit really got it hid off in the cut, but Dee end up finding it. And she knows something happened to her mom. And she sees the demons start. I think this is when we get the demons really start to follow her to Letty's house. They following her everywhere.
Yeah, because Letty came outside because Letty was, I forgot where Letty was going, but she was like, where's Tick? And she was like, I don't know. And that's when she seen one of the girls behind Letty. And this is when we find out that Dee is not able to tell anybody that the demons are following her. And because she tried to speak. Remember when the police officer put the spell on her and she was like, I can't breathe. Yeah. First off, I want to give a shout out to the director and all of that, because not George Floyd, but Eric Garner, I Can't Breathe. Like I feel like they played a huge, they gave a huge shout out to Eric Garner on the whole I Can't Breathe situation and how all the NBA players wore the I Can't Breathe shirts and all that. So the fact way back in the 1950s, they gave her that moment to say I can't breathe, and how that's so relevant to what happened in today's time. Shout out to the director, Jordan Peele, all them for doing that. But the spell actually kept her from talking. She wasn't able to explain what was happening to her. So when she tried to tell Letty that, look behind you, Letty was like, what? I can't understand you. And she kept coughing. She was like, like she couldn't get her words out. And Letty was just like, go get something to drink. But I'm like, oh, snap. Captain Lancaster put the spell on her to where she can't tell nobody what's happening. So she really just fighting this battle alone. And I felt like that was also, it was a hint to how a lot of Black girls are today, Black people in general, but I feel like especially Black girls, on how they deal with so much stuff that no matter what they try to tell people, nobody listens or nobody can hear what they're saying, even when they're speaking as loudly as possible. So I feel like that was a shout out to that. They were
ignoring her for a good part of this episode. Like they were talking to her and things like that, but nobody answering her mom. This is somebody who just lost her dad. Now she don't know what her mom is. Now she's getting chased by demons, and she's going through all of this.
And nobody's paying attention to her. Nobody's asking her questions.
That's crazy. So
the only one who was trying was Montrose, but by then it was like she didn't want to hear nothing from nobody, because it was like, I've been trying to ask questions. I've been needed y'all to talk to me, and nobody is saying nothing to me.
Man, Montrose ended up fucking up more than he helped at the end of the episode. Shit.
Yeah.
Montrose holding on shit. But yeah. But I think she ended up getting on a bike in this, and she ended up getting on a bike, speeding off, getting away from the demons. Then we get to Montrose and Tick having a heart-to-heart. This is when they was in the street. And Montrose let Tick know that him and his mother were together only out of convenience. Like they wasn't really more romantic. It was more like familiar love. Dora was going through a lot with the riots. She lost a lot of her family. And Montrose had said something about being gay in the church. I think the pastor had got a lobotomy or something because he was gay. They found out he was gay.
Yeah, he gave the story. The reason Montrose hid his sexuality and who he actually was because when he was a boy, the pastor of his church, there was a rumor that he was out in the park with another man, like in a homosexual way. And the pastor tried to play it off like it's just a rumor, blah, blah, blah. And then he ended up getting arrested in church, like in front of everybody. And he got sent to an asylum. And that's when they ended up cutting half of his brain and all of that stuff. So like homosexuality was viewed as something is mentally, biologically wrong with you. Like they seen you as a completely different person back then. Like
they
especially
played with that on the show Ratchet too. On Ratchet, they played with that same. I think it was in the same time frame. Yeah. Honestly. It was the same. But homosexuality, lesbianism, it's the same thing.
And you Black too, so it's like you Black and you're like you think oppositely sexually. from the rest of the world, apparently. So he really said, like, I chose my life over being in an asylum, being killed somewhere in a random park or something, or having my brain sliced, or being thrown in jail just because I'm gay or something like that. Yeah. That's why Tick finally understood, like, okay, like, I was mad as hell, but when you say it like that, I understand. Like, you chose to be alive at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's why he can't get open with Sammy boy, because Sammy want to be in the open, but at the end of the day, he's always going to have that memory in the back of his mind about the pastor. So that's why he always want to keep it on the lowest of keys with Sammy. It's like, I can't be out there, man, because I feel like they still going to come back and get me if I get out there in the open.
Yeah.
And then they also start to have a conversation about the Lovecraft book. So when Tick came back from the portal, he came back with a Lovecraft book, and it was written by George Freeman. At the end of last episode, I thought that was George Freeman, like Uncle George.
I did too.
Yeah, but we end up finding out that is George Freeman, which is Tick's son. Crazy. And we all know that Letty is pregnant now. So,
and he told Montrose that. He was like, Letty's pregnant.
Yeah. And I peeped at the beginning of the episode on the second watch. He had offered her water like multiple times at the funeral. It's like he knew she was pregnant, and she kept looking like, why you keep giving me water? Like, I don't want no water. She like, you need water, and shit like that. And he was basically like just trying to give her water because he knew what she was going through. He knew she was pregnant.
And then when they were arguing in the house, when Jaya came, and she was like, you've been making decisions without me. Like, what makes you think you could do this and this without telling me? You think you protecting everybody? Like, you really the one out here, like, everybody been dying since you've been home but you. Like, and all of that. And he was like, you don't think I know what's at stake and everything? And I'm like, he knows she's pregnant, but she doesn't know that he knows. So it's like, he thinks he's doing what's right for the baby too, but she don't know he thinking like that. She think that he just thinking for himself, when in reality, he's like, I know what's at stake. I know everything that's going on.
Yeah. And it's honestly surprising because they communicate a lot. So the fact that she don't want to tell him about the pregnancy is crazy, because it's like, hey, if y'all keep going with the bickering back and forth, like, you might as well tell this man.
I feel like I really think he's not gonna find, well, he knows now, but I don't think they're both gonna have that talk on her being pregnant until the finale. I don't think she's gonna find out that he knows in episode 9 either. I feel like it's gonna be in the finale.
Bro, did you feel in that one scene? I guess we're gonna get up to it anyway. But with the Letty and Christina scene when they were in the church, and she ended up giving her the protection spell, and she ended up having some little shit on her stomach. She ended up getting the Cain symbol on her stomach. Did you feel like, I thought she was gonna lose the baby, because I'm like, damn, what's going on with her stomach? I'm like, damn, this gonna affect the baby.
Nah, I didn't think it was gonna affect the baby.
Okay, because that's what the first thing I thought. I'm like, damn. Cause I see like she was like grabbing at her stomach and shit. I'm like, no. Wonder if that's gonna affect something. But it looked like it was just protection. So now we get to the Letty meets up with Christina scene. Letty wants Tick to be protected in exchange for the pages, but Christina doesn't do it. Instead, she offers protection for Letty. And this is what I say once again, by manipulation. Christina does not want Tick to be protected, because she wants him to be vulnerable for the autumnal equinox. Right. Just like Samuel had to be vulnerable during that whole ritual, Tick also needs to be vulnerable during her ritual with the autumnal equinox. That's why when she said, no, I can't do it for Tick, but I can do it for you, that was my manipulation. So on surface level, it looks like she's doing some good shit for Letty with the protection, but really she's still trying to get her way at the end of the day. She's still on the same way or the same direction with her plan.
But one thing I will say, I'll predict this. Since she gave it to Letty, and Letty is the carrier of Tick's baby, the future George Freeman, he might have protection too. He might have invulnerability as well.
The baby?
I'm predicting that. I ain't saying
most likely. Yeah, most likely.
I'm not saying that is going to happen, but that's what I'm predicting.
But I was also reading on Twitter that Tick could probably already be protected. They said the birthmark could probably be protecting him. And it was something else I had seen on Twitter that could be protecting him as well. And I was like, But I think she still needs him vulnerable to do what she wants to do with her plan.
Because I Googled that mark of Cain. That's what that was. Because remember when we first seen it in episode 5?
That was a devil shit.
We thought it was some devil shit. I got mixed feelings.
It still look devil.
But I Googled it, And basically, it was a symbol that God placed on Cain, and it was basically what it is in the show. It was a mark of invulnerability. Like Cain was able to not be killed, do whatever. Like anybody that tried to put harm against him, it would go back on them sevenfold. So I was like, oh, so it actually is a biblical reference of the mark of Cain. But when I Googled it, there was no actual like picture of it, because I think God, like the way God put it on Cain, it was visible, but nobody really knew what the mark was per se. That's why I couldn't find a actual picture. I mean, it was pictures that popped up, but it was no official type shit.
Didn't Cain walk around with some type of cane or something like that? Didn't he walk around with a cane? No.
You're thinking of Moses.
No, Cain used to walk around with it too. Cain and Abel. He used to walk around with one too, wasn't he?
I don't think Cain had a cane.
He didn't? I could have sworn Cain had a cane.
Cain did not have a cane.
Because I was about to say, is that some type of play on his cane? Did his cane look like that at the top?
Cain didn't have no cane. Cain did not have a cane. Only person I know who had a cane was Moses. It was a stick. It wasn't even a cane.
Yeah, it was a stick. I remember. I don't know, bro.
I mean, the stick did a lot, but it was a stick. It was a stick.
All right, bro. But yeah, bro, that was what I took away from that scene, though, bro. I was just like, she's manipulating again. Like I said, on surface level, it looked like she's doing some good shit, but at the end of the day, she's still trying to get her way with her plan. So yeah, we're talking about the mark of Cain. Now we get to Tick and Montrose once again. So Tick tells Montrose about what he's seen in the future, and he tells Montrose how a woman with a robotic arm shoved him back outside of the portal. So who do you think that is, bro?
I have no idea, because when he was explaining it, he was like, well, first, Montrose was like, so did you read the whole book? Like, does everything in here happen? He was like, well, there's some differences. Like the way my son wrote it in the book, D is a boy named Horace. Like Christina is a man. Like there's certain differences because it's a book, but he said it was similar enough to the real thing to where I feel like certain things from this book are going to happen.
Because she said Christina's a man, but she is a man.
Yeah, but she is a man, so I'm like, but then he said D was a boy named Horace, so I was like, okay, maybe it is fictional in a sense. So I was like, I don't know who the girl with the robotic armor, because he also said she was in a hoodie. So
I'm gonna put you on to some shit I had found out in the Explain video, bro.
Because it was white people riding. He said it was white people.
It was white people riding.
So I was like, ooh, now if he said black people riding, I could probably take a guess. But he said white people.
But he didn't say it was a white person that saved him though, or that pushed him out of the portal. So what they had said in the Explain video was that was D. Because you seen in the not the Explain video, but you see it at the end of episode 8, her arm is decayed, and you see it in the previews for episode 9. Her arm looked like it was decaying, so they probably had to chop it off. So they probably had to give her a robotic arm. So I'm like, damn, that shit could be D from the future. I'm like, damn, they put me on with that. So shout out to the Explain video.
She probably an old woman by then, but still, that's crazy.
But still, she saved him.
That's crazy. I ain't think about it. I like that. I ain't think about that.
Yeah, bro. So
like, wow, they
put me on. I was like, damn. Because I was thinking like you. I was thinking it was a white person. And I automatically, when he said white people riding, I automatically thought it was a white person who pushed him out. But he never said it was a white person who pushed him out. He just said he had a hoodie on. So he probably didn't know who it was. But we see what happened to D arm at the end. So you put 2 and 2 together. It's like, damn, that could have been D who did that.
Probably.
And it's like, damn, yeah. So next we get to, he just tells Montrose what he read in the book, and that in the book that he was sacrificed by Christina during the autumnal equinox in the book. So that's probably what's going to happen in this storyline as well. Because he said it was some truths. It was like a lot of truths in here that made you feel like it was some truth to it. Even though it had some fictional characters in some parts, it still felt like it was true. All right. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about, bro, about the happy endings or whatever. Because Montrose was like, you read the book or whatever, was it a happy ending? And Tick was like, did Tick say something? Damn.
What did he say? I don't remember his answer to that question.
Yeah, but
Montrose did ask. But
he did say something about happy endings. So I was like, damn, do black people ever have happy endings in these type of shit? So I'm like, I've never seen a black happy ending. And you see all the movies that's coming out nowadays, bro. It's all surrounded by black trauma. Even in Queen and Slim, that's black trauma. And you think they about to get away at the end, and they can't even get a happy ending. They get killed. So it's like, damn, like
the only black happy ending that really comes in
Princess and the Frog.
Yep, Princess and the Frog.
That's it. That's it, bro. It's like
hold on. Princess and the Frog. Think Like a Man. If it's not a romance story, it's not gonna have a happy ending.
That's what I'm saying. Like in a lot of these movies, bro. Like I said, trauma, or especially in sci-fi, man, of black people, it's never a happy ending for black people.
Yeah, if it's not romantic, it ain't gonna have no happy ending.
Oh, man, I thought about it. I was like, happy ending is like, bro, we never get a happy ending. Even when we create our own stories, it's never a good happy ending for black people. And you just think about that shit is crazy.
Get Out wasn't really a happy ending.
It was a happy ending. He got away, but it wasn't a happy ending.
Not a happy ending, really. Boys in the Hood, no.
Hell no.
Society, no.
That's what I'm saying. It's all surrounded by black trauma, bro, but no happy endings.
Deli, no.
Hell no. My nigga died. What's name died?
I'm trying to think of like any possible sign of happiness in it. Because Boys in the Hood, even though.
Oh, you mean, okay, yeah, if you mean just got away.
I mean like a full circle happy ending. None of these have a full circle happy ending.
It's never a full circle happy ending.
There's certain parts of each movie that have some happiness in the end, but
yeah,
there's never a full circle happy ending with these movies.
But why do you think that is, bro? Even when we create a show or something like that, we can never have a happy ending.
It depicts reality.
There you go. I'm glad you said that because I was on the same type of time with you, bro. That's reality, man. In black people life, man, it's no happy ending, bro. It's a struggle. Definitely a struggle. So I'm glad you said that. All right, bro. So we get on to the next. So Tick had ended up asking Montrose if there was any secrets. And I wanted to know if you caught this part. Because he had, I think Montrose was reading. He had read a line wrong or something like that. He ended up finding out that Montrose was dyslexic or some shit like that. And Tick had asked him, he was like, is there any other secrets that you keeping from me or something like that? And Montrose was looking crazy. And he was like, no, let's get on with the spell or some shit like that. And I'm like, bro, you peeped that. I was like, bro, this nigga still holding in secrets, my nigga.
I feel like it's the secret of Uncle George possibly being his dad. I feel like that's the one secret left that Montrose ain't bring up. And what I told you, I keep saying, I don't think he's going to bring it up because he still is not 100% sure if that's true or not. And he don't want to just throw that out there and then leave Tick with the notion of, well, damn, I really don't know who my daddy is. It could be this person. It could be this person. Montrose isn't going to bring it up unless he can actually know for sure if he's his daddy or not. That's why he holding that secret back. It's a possibility, not an actual for sure thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. Because I was like, damn, this nigga Montrose. That's a good point that you brought up about Uncle George because I didn't even think about that. I thought it was about some magic shit that he wasn't telling Tick about. I was like, is he still trying to hold in some magic shit? Because you remember that scene when he was talking about the lodges a few episodes back.
Yeah.
He ended up bringing that up. I was like, I wonder if this nigga still knows some shit.
It might be something about that too, though. But I think that scenario was about the Uncle George situation.
Yeah. They ended up casting the spell. They had all the intention. They had the little symbol around Tick. They had the body. They had the intention. And at the moment, it looked like nothing happened. Tick felt like nothing happened. Montrose felt like nothing happened or whatever. So
didn't see no signs or nothing. So I was like, hey.
It was a disappointment type shit.
I was like, well, shit, ain't that happened?
Yeah, like I really thought it was gonna be some real shit that happened. Like I thought it was gonna be like some scar or some shit pop up, but no. All right. Now we continue. Now we get to D and Captain Lancaster. So she busting that nigga office. She's like, where my mama at? She's like, you know something about my mama? Where she at? Is my mama dead or some shit she had said?
She had said her mama dead, and he was like, probably.
Like, yeah. Damn,
I was like,
crazy as fuck to say to a jit, bro.
I was like, very blunt, but okay.
That's crazy.
I'm loving the blunt attitude of a lot of these characters.
I do love that, though. I do love that. Because that's reality. Black and white folk gonna be blunt with your ass, bro. Especially about some real shit. They're gonna be blunt with you, dog. Real shit. So she confronted him about the curse as well. She was like, oh, when are they gonna start following me? Can you take the curse off me type shit? And he was like, I need you to do something for me and I'll take the curse off. He wanted her to get the orrery. I don't even think she knows where the orrery even is. She knows what it is, but I don't think she knows where it is. But Diane doesn't do it anyway. She ended up spitting on the cop, and she was like, "It's stinking here." She ended up walking out.
Hey, D had the realest moment in this entire show. Like, the realest moment. I thought D was the hardest character in this whole show. She spit on this cop and said, "Fuck you, pig," and walked out the door. Knowing that she ended up by herself.
Yeah.
It's nothing but police officers in there, and she a small black girl. She had the balls to look this man in the face, spit on him, and say, "Fuck you, pig." I was like, that's my dog. I had to pause it and clap when I watched it the second time. When I watched it the second time, I was like, let me pause this and just give her a hand clap.
That's some real shit. She was talking that shit on the way out, too. I'm like, it's stinking here. Because you already know he got that body in the background, too. Yep. And also, his body is decaying, so he probably got stank because his body decaying because, we talked about a few episodes ago because he got, like, an attached body look like he had a black torso or some shit like that. So it probably all the way in there. But I wanted to bring up the point of the background music after that scene. So she ends up getting on her bike, and you hear like a speech going on in the background about black women. It's like, you remember the speech, kinda?
It was I represent African American women who's misrepresented by the statistics of America and blah blah blah. That was from.
It was from
Naomi
Miami.
Wilder. Naomi Wilder.
Yeah. What's the school?
It was at the March for Our Lives rally in DC in 2018.
It was in 2018. Damn, I thought they had said it was a serial killing shooting or something like that. Was it not?
It was at the March for Our Lives. That might have been what that was for.
It might have been. Because I remember the school name. They said it in the explain video. They said the school name. I didn't write it down.
I don't remember what school it was, but I know she was the 11-year-old who gave the speech at the March for Our Lives.
And the speech was fire. And it basically was telling what D was going through in that moment, being alone, and she didn't want to be a statistic in that moment. You feel what I'm saying?
And I listened to the whole speech, too. Like, if you type it in on YouTube, listen to the whole thing. It was a really good speech.
What is
the excerpt that they gave was the most monumental part. Especially playing on the way they put it in the episode, but the whole speech in general was really good.
Yeah. And it basically was, it was going on while D was trying to get away from the demons. The demons were still following her. And she ended up going head up with one of the demons too. Like, she went head up, ended up swerving at the last minute. And it's funny because...
I kind of predicted that. I was like, I feel like D gonna find confidence in herself by the end of this episode and try to fight them off or something like that. So I wanted to predict that halfway into it, but I was like, let me keep watching.
It was sometimes in this episode, bro. I didn't want D to get got, but she was so close to getting got. And I was so upset at the demons. Cause I'm like, bruh, it's no reason that y'all shouldn't have got this girl by now. And at the bus stop. I
loved that though. And you know the movie I thought of the entire time I was seeing them, plus the music they were playing in the background, the what's the word? The suspenseful music.
Yeah.
It reminded me of It.
Yeah.
We talked about the clown.
Yeah.
Especially with the nails and the way their faces were. And they kind of had that clown around attitude.
Exactly.
Like,
that's why they were dancing. Yeah.
Like we're trying to get you and kill you or hurt you or whatever, but we're playing around at the same time because this is a game to us. And that's how it was in It. If you watch the movie It, he was trying to kill them, but he was playing with them at the same time. Like, because the whole movie, you think, this man is like, you're a demon clown. Like, just kill them. Like,
exactly.
But he's toying with them. Yeah. He's like torturing them with humor while he's trying to kill them. And I think that's what they were doing. They were artistically just running behind her, dancing behind her, walking slow to her. And I feel like that kind of horror is the best, especially when they weren't talking. I feel like silent horror is the best horror. When you don't hear anything, when you don't get any expression other than an evil look. I feel like that's the best kind of horror.
Yeah. And we had said that last week. It was going to be some type of connection to It. Just off the previews, it already looked like that shit too. All right, bro. Now we get on to the next scene, which was Christina reenacting Emmett Till's death. And this is something that I thought was real brilliant. Somebody had brought it up on Twitter as well. They had said, it was like they respected the death of Emmett Till by not showing a black person getting killed like that.
Right.
You said you had wanted to see like, or at least go through that situation at least. But they had just showed you it like, but a white person version of it, basically.
They did it with a white woman. At that. The way we uphold our children and our youth as a black community That's the way white people uphold white women. Like, white women are like, you will literally die, like, disrespecting a white woman, especially back then in that time. So what better way to make white people realize how terrible his death was than by giving it to a white woman? And I was mad because the dudes that she paid to do that to her, like, they walked away and said, why would anybody want to die like that? And I'm like, duh, like y'all kill Emmett Till like that, and then y'all do it to a white woman, and then all of a sudden y'all like, why would anybody want to die like that? And that's why I was telling you, I was like, I understand why black people want sympathy from white people when it comes to that, because it's like, if it's a white woman, oh, y'all up in arms, like, this is terrible, this is a tragedy. But then it happens to a black person, and all of a sudden.
Did you feel sympathy for that? Did you feel sympathy for that, Christina, when she was going through it?
No, because she was purposely doing that to herself, so I couldn't feel.
Even if it wasn't purposeful, are you still feeling that way?
Like, if that happened to her and she didn't plan that to happen to her, yeah, I'm still feeling sympathy. Even though let me take that back, because I know she can't die at the moment. She's invulnerable, so I wouldn't have felt anything. Now, if you take away the invulnerability and you take away the fact that she knew it was gonna happen to her, like, and she planned it to happen,
yeah.
If it was just a random situation and she was a random white girl, I would have felt bad, because I'm human. It's like, damn, I don't want anybody innocent I don't feel like we should be executioner to anybody, really. Like, I don't feel like we have the right to say whether somebody lives or dies, and especially if we're causing it. So I would have felt bad about it, and that's why I feel like most white people should feel bad when stuff like that happens to us.
Yeah, bro, it was brilliant, bro. It was basically, how would you feel if it happened to you? If it happened to a white woman, how would you feel? So I want to ask a white person, how did they feel while watching that actual scene? Like, did you feel something different?
And the crazy part is, when she got out the water, I'm willing to bet you she's still like, nope, don't really care.
And that's what I was going to ask you, but I was like, is she trying to feel empathy, or was she testing her invulnerability? Which one was it?
She was trying to feel empathy.
You think she was trying to get empathy, or she was trying to feel empathy?
She already got the mark of Cain, so that's why she paid for that to have.
But that's what I think she was trying to test it. I think she was trying to test her invulnerability.
No, she done had it for the longest. She done had it since like episode 5. Like, if you don't know,
she's had it the whole time.
Shit.
She's had it the whole time.
Remember when she was William and her and Ruby had sex for the first time, and they were on the stairs and his shirt came off, and we seen that big ass mark of Cain.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yep.
When she got out of the water, it was on her stomach, but when she turns to William, it's on her chest.
Yeah. And she was crying after she got out of the water, like she was trying to, like she felt something. Like now she started
laughing. So I'm like, yeah, this bitch don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Like she felt it, and she was like, yeah, she's sick in the head though. It's Christina though. That's why I fuck with Christina. She's sick in the head at the end of the day, bro. That's why I was like, I don't know what she was trying to get out of that. It could have been both, honestly. I think it was for both. She was trying to feel.
I really feel like she was trying to feel empathy
with invulnerability.
I feel like she was trying to feel empathy, and she was trying to understand Ruby. Because I really do feel like her and Ruby have a connection. This is why I feel like Christina's not 100% villain. I just don't feel like it.
Manipulation.
I don't even think she's 90%. It's 60-40. It's 60-40.
Ah, bro, she manipulating Ruby right now.
To a certain extent. Not completely. Ruby is the last person I feel like she really gonna do.
She does have a connection with Ruby, I do admit, but she's manipulating her this whole time.
Yeah, she is, but
she has a connection with Tick, but she would be manipulating him.
She don't got a connection with Tick.
They cousins. They got a connection.
To the point of how she has a connection with Ruby. Her connection with Ruby is like truly emotional. That's why in the preview for episode 9, that's why Ruby is telling them, like, let me try to convince Christina, because she's not gonna say no to me. And I'm like, see, I told y'all, she got a soft spot. She has a soft spot.
Nah, she the house nigga at the end of the day. She the house. You in the house, but you ain't no different than us, buddy. She manipulating you just how she manipulating all of us, but she ain't no different, man. It ain't no different. Now we move on to the next scene, bro, where Letty tells Ruby that she is pregnant, and Ruby tells Letty that she knows about magic and Christina, and Letty was like, oh my goodness, why are you doing this, Ruby? Oh my God, do you know what she does to people? And all that shit. And then they go through that little situation, and then Lancaster and the police show up deep outside Letty's house. They come out banging on the door, people telling Letty to come upstairs.
If I'm paying rent in that house and I wake up and I just see a bunch of white officers outside. I'm asking for my rent to be decreased at that moment. I'd have been like, hey, dog, I just woke up. I ain't trying to die today.
Man, you just trying to get through the day. Nigga ain't even thinking about
it. Get through the day, bro. Like, come on, dog.
You just trying to get through the day. You probably ain't even thinking about it. You probably think about that in the morning. During that moment when they was that deep outside. Oh, my goodness. That shit was crazy, dog. All right, then we stop at that scene short. We stop short at that scene. Then we move on to D once again. And she's in the family store. She's in the family store. She starts to lock all the doors. She unlocks a couple of them so the demons can get in. And she draws a picture and waits for the demons to come and get her. The demons come to get her, but Montrose ends up coming in and holding her.
The picture she was drawing pictures of the actual
of
girls,
the monsters,
of the monster girls, because she couldn't tell anybody. She couldn't talk. So
that's what I was wondering right now.
She used her art, like the way she drew Orinthia Blue and all the cartoons, the People's Guide trips and all that. She was like, hey, I can't use my words, so let me draw it out and see if it could work. I feel like she should have actually wrote down sentences, but pictures will work too, I guess. So
then we get back to the house with Letty them. Lancaster tries to walk in the house, but he can't because he knows magic. And he gets hit by the force field, same thing that Christina got hit by. Lancaster and the cops end up opening fire on the house. And basically, they were shooting at the house. Everybody was getting down. But while they were shooting, Letty ended up sitting up. And the bullets were just deflecting off her ass because she had their vulnerability. So everything was bouncing off her shit. But while all of this was going on, Tick ends up running up to the house because obviously he hears the gunfire and he can see what the hell is going on. So he ends up running to the house. While he's running to the house, he stops. A cop looks at him, and everybody started pointing the gun at him. And you already know what's about to happen at this point. He was about to get gunned down in this moment. Letty ended up running outside. And just when the officer shoots the gun at Tick, a Shoggoth ends up popping up out of the ground, bruh, saving the day. End up killing damn near all them officers, bro.
It's like his pet at this point.
It is. It is.
Literally his pet.
But I'm going to ask you some shit later on. I'm going to ask you some shit in a minute. Yeah, but he got saved by Shoggoth and attacked all the cops, including Lancaster. Is Lancaster dead? I thought he was dead when I seen him the first time.
Yeah, I think he did.
He dead? Okay, I thought he was dead too. But he doesn't attack Tick and Letty. He even lets him touch it. All right. And that was the end of the episode. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, bro. Now, think about it. We seen the same thing with these Shoggoths in episode 2. And what's the name was the one to summon them? Christina was the one to summon the Shoggoths. So did the spell work? Or did Christina protect Tick?
The spell worked. It just didn't work in the way that they thought it was going to work. That's my take on it.
Christina protected Tick.
So you said all of that you just said about Christina. This is why I can't deal with him. Like
because she needs Tick. That's what you're not remembering. She needs Tick for the autumnal equinox. So if he's dead, I cannot use him.
The spell worked. It just didn't work in the way that we thought it was gonna work. We thought he was gonna get some mark of Cain like Letty and Christina, or we thought it was gonna be just the way you said we can't see it. Like the spell didn't work in a visible way. It worked in a way of he has protection in different ways than they do. It may not come with a sign. It may not come with a mark or anything like that. But he has the invulnerability of having the Shoggoths come at any time to protect him. That might be his invulnerability.
I think it was Christina, bro. Christina has control of all of the Shoggoths, bro. She has control. So maybe.
We don't know what happened with the spell, though. Maybe he got some of that control now, too.
And we don't know if Montrose read it wrong. That's something that we didn't even think of. He does have dyslexia. He couldn't even read the sentence at one point.
That's why I said it probably worked in a way that we didn't expect it to work.
They probably didn't even know what the spell was. They were just reading some shit. So it was like, I don't know, bro. I think it was Christina personally. I think Christina protected Tick because she needs Tick at the end of the day for the autumnal equinox to get the immortality. She needs him. And I think she has control of all of the Shoggoths. And it didn't attack them. I think it didn't attack him or Letty because they have great white blood. And because Letty has it inside of her now. And also Tick. Tick is a great white. So yeah, I think that's the reason it didn't attack them.
They were trying to attack them like in episode 2. So like, what do you mean?
You right, bro. They was attacking them.
That's what I'm saying. The spell worked, bro. Like they were trying to attack them in episode 2.
You right. Damn, you right. They was trying to attack them.
Oh, not episode 2, but around the end of episode 1, I should say.
That was episode 1?
Yeah.
That was episode 1.
A lot of shit happened in episode 1.
Yeah, a whole lot of shit. So that was. Oh, yeah, bro. You right. The Shoggoths was attacking them. Okay. Yeah, you right. Yeah, you got that one. You got one. So that is their pet then. It is their pet, quote unquote. To protect them. Damn. Damn. Thought Christina saved the day once again, man. Goddamn. All right, bro. But also, and something I was reading, they said Lancaster isn't dead. They just bit off his arm. But what I seen, I look like Lancaster
ate the hell out of him and then threw him like across the house. Like this man is dead. He's not alive.
He's dead.
He ate off like both of his arms. Like it ate off all his insides and then flung him across the house. Like how are you not dead after that?
I don't know, bro. I think he dead too. Like,
unless he secretly has had invulnerability this whole time, which I doubt. That's the only
that
way
wouldn't have happened to him. That wouldn't have happened to him if he had invulnerability, I don't think.
So yeah, he's dead. Definitely dead.
Yeah. All right, bro. How you ranking these episodes, bro?
Ooh. I got episode 7, 8, 5, 3. 1, 2, 4, and 6.
You got one that far back?
Mm-hmm.
That man tripping. All right, but let me see. I got one at third now. I got 8, 7.
You still got one that high?
One is a legendary. Boy, are you kidding me?
You got one that high?
If it wasn't for if it wasn't for all the action that happened in these last couple of episodes, I don't think one can be topped. If it wasn't for all of this action. But I think it's so many perspectives you seeing now. You getting everybody perspective. You starting to tie in Gia now. I fuck with how they doing it, and I fuck with the Emmett Till component as well. So I'm gonna do 8, 7, 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, and 6. But one is the one that called you too. One is the one that you was like, oh yeah, I definitely gotta dive more into this shit. So one is legendary, bro. And I keep seeing people getting put on to Lovecraft, and every time they see episode 1, they just like, whoa.
Yeah, D-Quez texted me like 2 hours ago. He was like, bruh, I just started Lovecraft, and this shit crazy. He was like,
that's what I'm saying. Episode 1 gets you started for this shit.
Cause he was like, I'm at the part where they in the sundown area, and now they surrounded by police, and then more police come when they get in the other county, and then some shit just came out of nowhere and just started eating everybody. Exactly. I was like, bro, you barely scratching the surface right now, bro. I was like, it's so much more shit. He was like, bet. He was like, I'm gonna watch like 2 or 3 more episodes today. I was like, you gonna get hooked, bro. I promise you.
That's what I'm saying. Episode 1 get you right, bro. You see episode 1, you're like, yeah, I definitely got to keep watching, bro. Your first instinct is just like, whoa. Because you remember that first scene I had text you.
Like the first 3 or 4 minutes, you're like, what the hell is going on?
First 3-4 minutes, I'm like, what the hell am I watching, my nigga? I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, whoa, my nigga. The first one, bro. Oh, my goodness. Like I said, if it wasn't for all the action in the last 2, 1 would still be my favorite. Well, 1 get you caught. All right, anything else? Anything else you want to say? Favorite parts of the episode?
Favorite part? The part with D that I had said. I feel like it's the realest part out of the whole series when she spit on the cop.
Mm-hmm.
It was my favorite part was when Letty did the window bashings in episode 3 and all that. I had that as like my favorite part of the whole series, but D spitting on the cop. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, favorite part of the whole series.
That's my favorite part of the episode and of the whole series.
Oh, wow. I can't even think of the whole series right now. My favorite part of the episode is definitely that Christina and Ruby scene when Christina was bodying her ass. I love that. I love that scene. I love Christina, bro. Like I said, if she do not make it to season 2, I'm highly upset. I'm highly, highly upset.
I'm telling you, Christina not 100% villain. She's gonna when we get to season 2, it's gonna be an even bigger picture that she's a small part in now, and she's gonna be kind of sort of an ally, but kind of sort of trying to still do her own thing for her own benefit. That's the role she's gonna have in season 2.
Christina the realest nigga in this show though. You disagree?
I ain't gonna give her that tag yet.
Yeah, no, I fuck with Christina heavy though. That's definitely my favorite character. Oh, we haven't said favorite characters in, man. Who your favorite character in?
Christina, probably D now. Christina, D. I still rock with Letty.
Oh yeah, Christina and Letty is definitely my favorite too. Least favorite. Ruby by far.
Gia.
Oh damn, Gia too. Gia definitely down there too. Gia's definitely down there. Yeah. But I think that's it. Anything else?
No. My predictions for next episode.
Oh, predictions for next episode. Yeah.
I feel like.
What was happening? Oh, they was messing with D, so they was trying to help her and shit.
I'm trying to figure out what I think is gonna happen to her. I feel like she is gonna get the curse lifted off of her, and what else? Montrose is going to give the last secret that he's hiding from Tick. He's gonna unveil that secret. So I think the secret is of him being uncertain that either him or Uncle George is the father. So I feel like that secret is finally going to come out in episode 9. And I feel like the curse will be lifted off of D. Because I heard some people saying they think D going to die. The curse always going to follow D around or something like that. I was like,
I think that too, though. I was
like, that's not too wild to say.
Because you see it in the previews, her face was changing. Like her face had ended
up her whole body was morphing into the thing she was running from.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, that ain't too crazy to say, but I think the curse is gonna be lifted.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're gonna do it next episode, but they definitely gonna cut her arm off because I think she's the robotic arm lady that Tick was talking about. So at one point they gonna cut off her arm though. Like I said, I don't know if that's gonna be next episode because that might be too soon, and I would want to know how they would do it. They do it just like a regular saw or some shit.
Probably regular amputation, like how they do in the hospitals.
Yeah. Damn. 13 years old, no arm? That's tough.
Shaquem Griffin. Well, no hand as
no
opposed
hand,
to arm.
No arm, man. That's kind of crazy. All right, bro. I guess you can hit them with the social media.
You can follow us on Twitter at Q&E Podcast 1. You can follow us on Instagram at Q_and_E_podcast. You can follow and like our Facebook page, Q&E Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell and hit all so you can see anytime we drop new episodes. Our email, QANDEpodcast@gmail.com for any business inquiries, questions, concerns, fan mail. We'll get back to you as soon as possible on there. Quincy's Twitter is Q_Hicks3. Mine is Edgar Martin 97. You can follow Quincy on Instagram at QHicks Production. You can follow me at Edgar Martin Official. Shout out to Blue Collar Media Group and MTMB Sports.
Yes, and you can subscribe to us on all of our podcast platforms. We're everywhere that you listen to podcasts, so definitely check us out. Our biggest ones are Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, so definitely check those out. And subscribe to my YouTube. Type in Quincy Hicks into the search bar. I just did a video on Kyle Pitts from the Florida Gators and how he's the best tight end in the country and how he's going to be a first-round pick. So definitely check out that video, and I think that's it. So I
got Kyle Pitts being the top tight end drafted in this upcoming whenever he goes to the draft because he's a junior right now. So I don't know if he's gonna want to stay for the senior year.
Yeah, he gonna get that bag this year. He about to go get that bag, bro.
Whenever he goes to the draft, whether it's this year or next year, he's going to be the number 1 tight end in the country drafted. He's gonna be a first-round top 10 drafted.
Hell yeah. All right,
and Kyle Trask will win the Heisman. And the Gators will win the national championship. And Dan Mullen will get Coach of the Year. I'm done.
This is our movie podcast.
You brought it up.
Yeah, man. All right, man. We appreciate y'all for listening, and we out. Peace.